So we got the Nvidia earnings and they were great. The revenue that we saw for the quarter was absolutely incredible, smashing the expectation that was out there for about 33 billion. Instead, coming in, I have the number here in front of me, over 35 billion. So about 5 to 6% beat over what was projected, what was expected by the analysts, and also for myself. And I've shared that in my video prior to those earnings. I'll put those numbers up on here for you as well so that you can take a look at them. And so if you guys want to see this information that I have, if you want to see my technicals before they hit YouTube, see my buys and sells, the link down in the description for the Patreon. You can also talk to me about stocks like Nvidia and other ones that you favor, and we can take a look at those as well. There's using the link down in the description for the Patreon. Click that, sign up, and head on over to the Discord and join the community. And later on, say about how you can learn to do technical analysis trading yourself and how you can get access to the broader SP trading strategy through Stockmo Academy using the code word DOCTOR when you sign up. It's going to give you a massive discount. In the meantime, let's pop these numbers up here for Nvidia. So what we saw in this column right here, this is my expectation that I had for the high estimate, and it was pretty much in line with what we saw from Wall Street. In this column that we have here, this is the actual results that we saw for the third quarter. So around 33 billion expected, 35 billion is what came in. And then the earnings per share was the really impressive part, coming in at about 76 to 78 cents. I think Wall Street, it was expecting 78. I had 76. We came in at 81. So that was awesome. So we actually saw a pop up above 150 for the stock price just in the very beginning of the market open, and then selling off considerably from that point in time, and then kind of landing us right back in the middle, kind of back to where we started, if you will, prior to when the earnings came out. And I think the big reason is when we look at the Q4 guidance, well, I should say about the quarter over quarter change. So we were up about 17% from the previous quarter. When you look at the estimates, according to what Nvidia has, which is above what I had for the fourth quarter. So this is what I had prior to the earnings coming out. I need to update this one now that we got that guidance, and I'll be putting that out on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe when you see that come out. We went from about 17% revenue quarter over quarter to down to about 7 expected right now. So the market's like, yeah, that was an awesome quarter. And then, well, we were hoping for a little bit more the next quarter, and we kind of wanted to hear better commentary about 2025. So I listened to the earnings call, and I'll tell you what, it was a good earnings call. I will say that it had a little bit of hesitance to it, that the previous earnings in the last few quarters that we've had, it didn't have the same excitement, the same vibe, the same feel. And I think that's why we see some subdued price action. So things are good. Things are still looking really good, really hopeful. And I think that's still what props up the price as well as it is. So I don't have my earnings projections updated, but I will update those and share those with you. But I do want to point out a few other things. So year over year change, almost 100%, almost doubled what it was the previous year from Q3 of this earnings year to the Q3 of the last fiscal year, 2024. And compare that to about 70% coming up. So we're starting to hit those year-over-year changes where it's not going to be as impactful. The biggest drawdown in the quarter is really where we're looking for what that sort of trajectory looks like. Are we hitting the top of that S curve where things start to level off? And then when we look at earnings, and this is a projected number by me, this is not put out by what we have from Nvidia. So these are my own calculations. We would go from about 81 cents per share to about 83 cents per share. So again, this is my projection based on what Nvidia said for their guidance. So they guided with the revenue, they guided with the margin, the operating expenses down a little bit from what I had. And from that stuff, I calculated, did a little bit of extrapolation to about 83 cents per share, which would only be about 2% in year over year terms. I'm sorry, quarter over quarter terms, compared to about a 19% growth in earnings per share from Q2 to Q3. So if that sort of slowdown is coming along, like when exactly do you expect to hit that next growth part of things? Because even though the PE is a little bit high, the PEG ratio has been a bit low, but this increases that PEG ratio because it decreases the amount of growth that's expected. And so right now, Wall Street and the market is trying to decide where exactly we place Nvidia stock. And I think that this is a good time to really transition into the stock chart itself so we can see what happened on an hourly basis from what we saw with earnings till what the market did yesterday. So there's the drop off in earnings. You can see the pick back up, and then it looked like some people pushed the stock price back up and then maybe cashed out of those positions, a little bit of profit taking, and still deciding what in the world to do right now. So you can see my support down here at the 142 level down to about 141. Support held up pretty good. Resistance up here at 148. what is that, 148.72. 1, 2, 3 tests on it, still stuck in the middle, and then plus we're on top of a trend line right now. 150 gave us a rejection as well, even though we did, where did we spike up to? About 152.89. Next resistance up above, that's 153.85, by the way. So for Nvidia, why haven't we seen the bigger price action? Honestly, I think the growth is being called into question. That what does that look like, and how well is the Blackwell launch going? And Jensen put out that they're going to sell more in the next quarter, in Q4. They're going to sell more in Q1, and then they didn't really comment on the rest of that, not extensively anyway. But as long as we continue to hear that, we see that ramp, and we hear more about the products and services that are coming out for them and how those are growing and scaling. That's just some of the issues that we see so far. So I'm going to do a big write-up on this as I continue to pick through the information that I have for Nvidia to see more of a, not necessarily long-term across years worth of horizons, but over the next quarter, what exactly we should be looking for and what exactly we should expect from here. And we actually did hear good news on the gross margin side of things, that it's still going to stay in the low 70s range, but then they also commented in the earnings call that it's possible that they return back up to that mid 70s on the back half of 2024, or their fiscal year 2025. I'm sorry, 2025, their fiscal year 2026. So in the back half of next year is when they were talking about for that. So guys, if you want to hear more of my commentary, talk to me and my community members, see my buys and sells, my technical analyses, you can do so using the link down in the description for the Patreon. Click sign up and head on over to the Discord. And that Stockmo Academy course has been put together by Stockmo and Mrs. Mo, and they are career professionals in education, and they put together a very tight course. So go ahead and check that out. You get access to the bread recipe trading strategy, tells you how to set it up, how to use it, and I'll tell you what, whether the securities that you're tracking are moving up or down, this thing really does help to signal when that next big move is coming, allow you to capitalize on those movements as they come along, and there's a learning community that goes along with it. Use the code word DOCTOR, D-O-C-T-O-R, when you sign up. You're going to get a massive discount on that course, and people in their testimonials are paying for that course in as little as one trade using the bread recipe trading strategy. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.